Okay, so if you've been backpacking or just being outdoorsy for very long, especially stuff where you're doing overnighters, I'm sure somewhere buried in your bag, you've got a headlamp in. As a backpacker, hiker, we all, the lighter the better. We're scurrying around here with the little 1 ounce headlamps and all that fun stuff. Might have a better mousetrap for you here. So stick around today. We're going to go through, check out this little jewel. Put this thing in and out of my Amazon shopping cart about a dozen different times. And there's been quite a few reviews come out. I think I watched every single one of them. This is the Wuben G5, and it actually looks like this. And I just could not decide if I was going to like it or not. I wasn't really sure kind of what the quality would be, and I put it in, I take it back out. Put it in, take it back out. I was kind of enamored with the options that it looked like it had, and finally I was almost ready to pull the trigger and take a chance on it, and they actually reached out and asked if they could send me one. I figured at that point, no harm, no foul, we'll give it a whirl. I have been absolutely flabbergasted. I like it far better than I expected to. It did take a little bit of getting used to early on as far as like the controls and just getting used to what the patterning was on the lights. Let's jump in and take a quick look at it here. I'm always in the woods, and I've been very accustomed to carrying like a little EDC, like a little tiny rechargeable flashlight, and it's just like a little hollow tube round flashlight. But then when I'm out and about for hiking in the woods and stuff, I'm in a headlamp because I like the versatility of having both hands free. I think this is actually going to cover the best of both worlds. Obviously it's kind of forward facing here, but you do have the ability to just kind of go through and rotate the head around to either side. So there's 3 positions on that. Why would you want to do that? Well, this is what I was really liking. You have an embedded clip over here that stays nestled in right here, and you just pull it out a little bit and rotate it around, and now you have a bill clip for it to go onto your hat. A lot of times I'll be out and I'll be wearing a ball cap or something, and I want to put my headlamp on, and quite honestly then the bill gets in the way unless I have the light pointed straight out in front of me, which I hate to do because then I'm blinding people when I look at them. I always like to keep it tilted down, but if I keep it tilted down, then the bill's in the way. So then I'm turning my hat around, and quite honestly, at my age, I look stupid with my hat pointed down. A little too old for that. So I like the versatility of being able to turn this into a bill, like a bill cap light, kind of just clipping that on, and being able to toss this out in front and angle it however I wanted to angle it, and then function from there, but then at the same time still being able to stand it up and use it as a light as well. Now it does have a magnetic base on here, so you can stick it onto stuff, which I think is really flashy and neat. Now on the other side over here, you've got a little slide door that opens up and accesses your USB-C charge, and this is also, it's going to lock the light. So if it's down and the charge box is covered up, push the button and it doesn't come on. Flip that up, the light's going to come on. It's pretty. I was actually kind of surprised. It's really thick, kind of durable. I have not killed the light yet. I haven't used it enough to actually wear it completely out. So one thing I do really like about it, so when you turn it on, which is just this one little single button up here, so you have a control here, the button, and then you have a little wheel dial up here. This is going to control the lumens, and it will go up to 400 lumens, so it gets pretty bright. Probably has about a 80 meter throw on it, something like that. That's not going to be anything like super long, but it's still, you guys can see it's pretty bright, and we'll take it outside here in the dark in just a little bit, and I'll let you guys see just how much it lights up in the backyard. But you can dial it down to just a few lumens. Obviously, the dimmer it gets, the longer your likelihood of your battery's going to be, but it'll dial up pretty nicely and get pretty darn bright. And then you can sit and dial it down where you get that little flash. Now, it's not just a white light though, and this is one thing that I really like about it. So wherever the last setting is that you leave it on, whenever you push it once, it's going to come back to that setting. So if you dim it, if it's relatively dim here, dial it down. You bump it off, it's going to come back to that dim setting. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, it's not just a white light. So with the light on, if I push the button and hold it again, it's going to pull up the RGB lighting. And you can actually dial through here and pick the different colors that you want. It'll run pretty wide way through the spectrum here, and you end up with quite a few options and variations. I know I'm typically on a red light, but there are some times that I usually like a little bit different, whether it's green or blue depending on what I'm doing. That's nice, and again, I'm just filtering through those just by going up and down on that dial. Another thing, I figured it out a while back, so if you push and hold in on it, it starts to flash blue. Now when it does that, you do a quick double take, it likes to go into the strobing patterns, and it has a handful of different strobing patterns. And this is just the kind of the police siren. This is the red and blue strobing, which I think was a neat little feature there. And it's just a single click to turn it back off. Now when you turn it back on, it is going to go to whatever the last setting is that's not the strobe. And it's on the blue. I'm just going to hold it down and turn it back to the white because that's where I typically leave it. All right, so it's not super dark out here, but we're going to give it a whirl anyway here. Coming in on, so this is the Wuben G5. You dial it up here a bit. So you can see, brightens up the yard. I can see topo really nicely over there. And the thing that I was really enamored about with this little light, so this thing only comes in, I actually pulled it out and weighed it earlier. It's like 50, I think it's 53 grams. It's like 1.8 ounces. So it is a little bit heavier than like our typical kind of headlamps made by a couple of these vendors out here, which I won't mention. But it gives you so many more options. You get the ability to throw it on your hat, or even like clip it to the front of your shirt, to your backpack if you're walking. I could just as easily as throwing on this onto my bill cap, I could just as easily thread this through the strap on my backpack and just carry it on the strap if I'm not wearing a hat, and let that walk out in front of me. I can clip it on my belt. I can clip it in the side of my tent so that I have lighting inside the tent. Like that I can dial it up and down and actually have a lot more precision over how bright the light is. And the ability to just kind of clip it on with a magnet. It just seems like it has so many more options than a typical traditional headlamp will. And it actually stows and packs down really tightly. I'll be quite honest, I throw it in my front pocket a lot of times, and there have been a couple times I've almost washed it just because it is as tiny as it is. It's kind of easy to forget that it's in your pocket, and when you empty them out, you sort of forget it's there. Hey, before I forget to tell you, if you're still sticking around watching this video and you're interested in this light, scroll down to the description down below. These guys were kind enough to give me a discount code to get you 20% off if you go through and buy it at their store. So good, worth going in and checking it out. Now when you buy this, it comes with a little bitty, actually right here, a little pouch. It has a lanyard in here and another charging cable and all of that fun stuff. I didn't put any of that stuff on there. I wanted it to be just the naked light so that I could actually drop it into some of the organizers and stuff that I have without worrying about things getting caught up in the lanyard and stuff. I'm not a big lanyard person. Have really not been able to completely kill the battery yet. It's got a pretty good throw and run time. Obviously, it has been predominantly on lower settings because I'm typically not blazing away with the light out here. But I do think this is probably my new backpacking light. It's definitely going to start making far more appearances, and it's definitely already migrated into my EDC setup. So I'm probably going to buy one more, and that's just going to permanently live in my backpack. Because I'm always curious. I went out and pulled just a look on Amazon and see how many reviews and stuff they had on there and what the ratings and stuff were. And right now they're sitting on about 1,000 reviews, at least on the one posting that I see out there. And it's running at about 4.5 stars. So it looks like people are generally as pleased with it as I am. Like I said earlier, it does take a little getting used to as far as like the buttons and the dial and just the fit and feel with it, because I'm used to kind of a traditional flashlight. But the more I handle it, the more I use it, the more I get used to how many clicks does it take to turn something on, and what are the settings, and what do I need to do to get to this next setting. It's actually gotten remarkably easy to use, and I don't really have any complaints over the thing. It is super tiny, super light. So one thing about this little G5 light, I see them online anywhere from $20, $19, somewhere in that neighborhood, up to about $25 at a regular price. They very often seem to have a sale running on, but it's not something that's going to break the bank. Okay guys, the jury's still out on this little light, but I've only had it for a couple of weeks, but I'm going to be honest, so far I'm digging it. It did take me a little while to sort of get used to the buttons and moving through and getting to the right settings that I wanted on there. Once you get used to it, it's pretty darn handy. So I really can't complain about the little light. I'm definitely going to keep hammering away, and this has now kind of replaced my normal little stick flashlight that's been in my everyday carry. It's probably ready to replace the headlamp that I've been carrying for backpacking and hiking, just because it has so many more options. So go ahead and check it out.